What's up, guys? Tuki here, back again. This is the Manhattan Project, my franchise mode series with the New York Rangers. And let's see what happens today, because, as I mentioned at the end of the last episode, it's kind of important that we find success here, because we have a lot of big-name players that have to be re-signed after a meh draft, as we'll call it. And after two very disappointing seasons in a row, we have some work to do to try and get this team back into contention as soon as possible. And we will start immediately by re-signing some of our goalie prospects. That's looking good. Of course, who will be the main goalie with Shesterkin this year? Will it be Halverson, or will we have to go out and sign somebody else? That is the question. The first big move is re-signing Ryan McDonagh. Ryan McDonagh, our captain. Now, the good news is he's 30 years old. He's only looking for a 3-year deal, and we're going to be able to sign him for $525, which is crazy. Like, that is a steal for Ryan McDonagh. I cannot believe we're getting a top 2 defenseman for that cheap. Unreal. Absolutely unbelievable. I will take it. So, again, yeah, 525. Perfect. Beautiful. Anton Strawman, who we recently reacquired, and we're going to be able to get him for even cheaper. Even cheaper, in fact, at 4.7 mil even. Not too shabby at all. Yeah, 4.7 mil on the dot for 2 years. Not too bad. Anthony DeAngelo, not asking for that much money, which is fine. A little bit concerning, seeing his, seeing as his potential and what age he is. We're going to be able to lock him in at 2.2 even, which is again not too shabby. So we're looking good. Jesse Taylor, I think his name was it Jesse? Jeff. Well, see, shows how much I pay attention. We're going to leave him unsigned for the moment. Again, we acquired him on waivers. De Jong needs to be signed. Messier will let go of. And Andrew Smith is here at the bottom, right? Andrew Smith is at the bottom. People are going to want me to keep him, but let's be honest, guys. He's not going to progress. I mean, I could keep him down in the AHL, but that is going to hinder development of certain other players. So, yeah. I mean, Messier, getting rid of Messier, I could have kept him, but again, he's not going to progress. So, I'll leave Smith there for now. We'll see if it makes sense to sign him in a minute. Again, we still have a ton of other players to sign, including one Nino Niederreiter. I would have liked to have kept Messier, too. I mean, I suppose I could just sign him if I really wanted to. 5.25 even for Nino over the next 2 years. That's not, or 4.2. No, not 5.25. 4.25. He was asking for 5. DeSalvo we can get rid of, and the good thing is he won't be on Hartford anymore. Matt Zuccarello needs a new deal as well. 6.025 is the asking price. We can get him for 5.125, which again is a really good deal. Asking for 6 years though, which is a little bit concerning. I'm willing to give it to him. He'll be 37. I mean, really, how much is he going to ask for if I drop that to 4 years? So he is asking for a little bit more, but you know what? I think I'm willing to do that. Hold on. We'll hold off on signing him for now, because I want to see what we can get him for. Jeff Skinner's asking for 5.8 over 4 years, which is fine by me. We can knock that down to 4.95, which is a pretty good offer. Yeah, not too bad there at all for Jeff Skinner. Robin Kovacs needs a new deal. Still willing to accept a 2-way, which is very concerning as far as his development goes. But we'll just give him the deal that he wants. Alex Formenton needs to be signed as well. And then centers, Kyle Turris. Kyle Turris asking for 4.125. Not too bad. He did drop to a second-line center. Again, I have a feeling that has to do with the morale. Still signing him at 3.525 is not too bad. Not too bad at all. And hopefully he can bounce back. Selman we can get rid of. I just need to make sure that we are good contract spot-wise. That's pretty much what we are dealing with here. So let's move forward. We'll see who accepts. We'll see how many contract spots we have, because we do have to sign certain players still. Oh, Jeff Skinner, don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare. We just acquired you. Oh my god, that could ruin the Kreider deal. Nino rejects as well. McDonough rejects. Turris rejects. Strawman rejects. Holy fuck. Oh my god. All right. So we might be in a lot of trouble here. D'Angelo accepted. Halverson, Kovacs, Schneider. Turns out we're going to have to throw out a little bit more money than we initially wanted to. Holy shit, we are in trouble. We are in just a little bit of trouble. So, again, here, you know what? What if I offer Turris like a 1-year deal? I mean, he still wants the same asking price. So here, how about instead of that, let's knock that down to like 3.9. We won't discount it by that much. We could go as low as 3.5. Here, let's even try 3.8 just to negotiate a little bit. And we'll see if he accepts. So we're still getting a bit of a discount, not as big of a discount as we would have wanted. We'll see if he accepts a 1-year deal. And then that way, we could trade some players if we have to at the deadline. So we could be in a little bit of trouble here moving forward, for sure. We could be in maybe even a lot of trouble, especially if we were to lose these players for free. Now, Zook wants that 6-year deal. I'm going to have to give him that 6-year deal to have him accept, more than likely. I'm going to try to knock it back to 4 again, which we'll see what happens. Again, I could drop that to as low. Fucking hell, I keep messing shit up. I could drop that deal to as low as 5.45. So we'll go 5.8. And we'll see what he thinks of that, which, again, it's not looking too likely. I'm going to have to hand out some really rough contracts here to make this work. Let's see if we can get Skinner on a 1-year deal just to get him back. We could drop that to about 4.9, so we'll go 5.25. And we'll see if he accepts that, which is still a good deal for Jeff Skinner. I went to 8 years accidentally. Holy shit, that would have been bad. Let me just redo the math here just in case. Again, yeah, to say I'm a little bit flustered by this would be an understatement, because we've never had this many players reject. So he'd be willing to drop down to 5.4. So let's go 5.8 for Jeff Skinner for 1 year. And we'll see if he accepts that. Alex Formenton, you know, I should have the space to sign him, actually. I mean, we're down to 42 contracts, so I should be able to sign him to his entry-level deal, which is good. Right wings, Nino Niederreiter. We'll get him for 1 year. Still looking for that. So that would be 4.25 even, I do believe. Yeah, 4.25. So we'll go 4.5 for 1 year. And we'll see if he accepts that, not discounting him as heavily as we were before. Defenseman, oh my god, this could be an absolute disaster. Let's try to get McDonough for the just for 1 year, just to see if he'll resign. And we can drop that to, let's go 6.5 for 1 year on Ryan McDonough. This is brutal. Anton Strawman, again, we'll go 1 year, 6.05. Wow, this is ridiculous. All right, so Strawman, we could drop that down to 5.15. So we'll just go 5. We'll go 5.5. That works for me for 1 year. That works for me. Taylor, again, we won't sign yet. We won't go after DeJong or Smith yet. We need to solve these big contracts first. This is a little bit scary. Just a little bit scary. Let's see if I can get myself out of this. Will anybody accept, or am I not handing out enough money? Jeff Skinner has accepted. Good. We at least managed to get Jeff Skinner back. Niederreiter still declined. Zook still declined. McDonough, Turris, Strawman, Formenton accepted. Well, we got Jeff Skinner back, but again, I'm going to have to hand out even more money. Shit. All right, let's just go. So RFAs, there isn't anybody, right? Okay, good. So it's all UFAs at this point. And goalies were fine. Okay. All right, Ryan McDonough. You want 3 years at 6.1. So you know what? Here, I'll give you the 3 years. I could drop that down to 5.25. Let's drop it to 5.8, which is still a really good deal for a top 2 defenseman. 5.25 though, man. Just damn it. Here, let's go 5.7. No, fuck. Damn it. So 5.25 is the lowest. Here, can I get you at 5.5? Does that sound good, McDonough? Please. Hopefully. Handing you an extra $250K, more than I really have to. We'll see if he accepts that. I can't fuck around for too long either. I mean, Zook, I have no choice but to give him the 6-year term. I have no choice, really. I just have to get this deal done. I have to get this deal done. Again, we can knock that down to 5.125. So let's go, say, 5.5 for McDonough, Zuccarello, 6 years. Oh God, this is brutal. 5.525 for Strawman. So again, that would be 4.7. So we'll have that at 5 mil over 2 years. Hopefully that sounds good. Nino, we gave up a first and a third for you. Let's go 4.8 for you, because I think I already tried 4.5. So 4.8 for him. Kyle Turris, I don't remember what the hell this was supposed to be at. Kyle Turris would be 3.5-ish, so let's go 3.8 for him. Taylor, I guess I'll re-sign anyway. I should be able to sign him for incredibly cheap and then just trade him. Again, because he doesn't really factor into this team. 1.125 is the answer for him. DeJong will sign to his entry-level deal, and Smith, for the hell of it, will sign to his entry-level deal. Oh, God. Oh, God. Right. Here we go. Next day. Will they still decline? Nino, I fucking hate you. Zuccarello's back. Thank God. He just really wanted those 6 years. Ryan McDonough's back. Thank God. Turris rejected. Strawman accepted. Taylor rejected. Well, fuck you then. Smith and DeJong accepted. We're making progress. I am getting just ripped apart by these guys as far as being able to use and abuse the 85% trick to re-sign players for cheap. I mean, we're having a rough go of it, that's for sure. But now it's just Turris and Niederreiter that we have to worry about. And then Taylor can go fuck himself because he was a waiver pickup, so whatever. Alright, Turris, please, I am begging you. Let's work out a deal here. So again, 3.5 is the cheapest I could go. What about 4 million even? Sounds like a good deal to me. Nino, I'll give you exactly what you want. 5 for 2 years. Let's do it. 2x5. You got it, buddy. You got it. And then Taylor, here, I'll drop to 1.3, and I should still be able to trade you for a bag of pucks. Oh, God. Oh, God. You have 2 bad years after winning a cup, and everybody wants to abandon ship. Will they accept? Is the question. Nino still rejected, Turris rejected, and Taylor rejected. How many days do I have left to make this work? Because if we lose Nino Niederreiter, we essentially borrowed him. We have 2 days to make this work. That means we essentially borrowed Nino Niederreiter for a first and a third and made Minnesota a hell of a lot better. As if they're not already good enough. We have $19 million to spend, so cap space isn't an issue, but obviously signing these players for more than they are worth, or for, more than we could actually, typically, tend to sign them for, is what I'm trying to say, we'd be fine. All right. Because we don't have room to fuck around, Kyle Turris, 3 years, $5 million. That's my last offer. That's as high as I'm willing to go. 3 years, $5 million for Kyle Turris. Taylor, I mean, I really don't even give a fuck about you. Let's go 2 years at 1.8. That's my final offer. And then Nino Niederreiter, 2 years at $5.8 million. That is my final offer. Let's see what happens. I believe this is the second to last day we can hear from them. So this is dangerous. We are at severe risk. I mean, Turris and Niederreiter, not the worst players we could have lost, but still, I don't want to lose them. Let's find out. Niederreiter rejects, Turris accepts, Taylor accepts. So it's just fucking Nino Niederreiter, who again we signed as an RFA for a first and a third round pick from Minnesota. We have 1 day left to get a deal done with Nino, or he goes to free agency as a UFA. So we'll try a 1 year deal at $6 million. You know what? 1 year, $625. If he doesn't accept that, then it is what it is. 1 year at $625 for Nino Niederreiter. We have the cap space. We can afford it. I mean, if he accepts too, I could trade him immediately. Let's see what happens as we get. This was the last day to negotiate. Will we be able to re-sign Nino Niederreiter? Yes, we will. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, it was easy to agree. Yeah, no fucking kidding. Could have gotten him for $4.5 million. We signed him for $6.2. Unreal. But he has re-signed in what was one of the worst negotiating periods and one of the worst re-sign phases I've ever had in one of my franchise mode series, as all of our top players were looking to leave. Now, of course, some of the guys we re-signed, I'm all right with it. I mean, God, it really sucks having to re-sign Zuccarello for 6 years. You know, not getting as big of a discount as we could have. So this might put us into a tough spot in the future. For now, we're still okay. I mean, because you have to figure, at the very least, we could still trade JT Miller and Kevin Hayes to open up cap space. Like, we're doing all right. The main reason why we're doing all right, put it this way, if Henrik Lundqvist didn't retire, we were fucked. Absolutely boned if Hank didn't retire and we still had that $8.5 million contract on the books. So, we at least avoided disaster. The problem now is that Charlie McAvoy is a UFA, Blake Wheeler is a UFA, Derek Brassard and Ryan Spooner, who somehow ended up to an 88, is a UFA. Matt Duchene is also a UFA. The problem is, if that bullshit didn't happen, I probably would have had enough to sign both Wheeler and McAvoy. If I was able to sign all of those players using the 85% trick, I would have been able to just outright sign Wheeler and McAvoy and at least go for them. Now you're talking about taking the risk of trading somebody. I don't know why McAvoy is a UFA. I guess that's just the unfortunate side effect to being, a creative player. Sergei Bobrovsky and Cam Talbot are also on the free agent market. So again, no doubt, signing some of the players like we did really screwed us over. Now, looking at goalie prospects too, we're probably going to go after Luukkonen and Breland. Breland, 76 overall, 20 years old. He was a 7th round pick of Minnesota. Holy shit. So prospect-wise, goalies, we at least have people that we can sign. What about defensemen? We know the big names. We need to look at the prospects now. Eric Bronnstrom and Connor Timmins both hit the free agent market. Now, whether or not I would sign them and trade them back to where they should quote-unquote belong, I don't know. I was nice last time. Maybe I won't be so nice this time. Especially after how the past season's gone. Forsbacka Carlson's a UFA, but there's no way we can afford him. Lind and Anderson Dolan are UFAs. Low top 6 players that we could go after. Jack Studnicka also there. Wow. Comtois available. Like, there are some players. And if I decide to not be so nice to the AI, we could do some big-time damage here. All right. So, the question is, I mean, going after Blake Wheeler would be nice. Charlie McAvoy as well. I mean, you could argue Derek Brassard, but maybe, maybe not. I mean, obviously, he did just have a great postseason and he won a cup, but he's asking for $7 million. I'd be willing to... like, Wheeler's not even asking for that much, right? So, yeah. I mean, you know, getting Brassard wouldn't be too bad, but I don't think I'm willing to pay that much for him. I mean, regular season, he did have 56 points. How did Blake Wheeler do in the regular season? 66 points. So, yeah, there you go. So I want to go after Wheeler. I'm going to go after Charlie McAvoy. And no, if I get him, I'm not trading him back to Boston. He would be ours. Absolutely. Now, that would create a bit of a dilemma with Strawman. But for the most part, I think we'd be all right. And then there are quite a few prospects that we could look to get as well that I wouldn't exactly have to be so nice about. So, this episode, man, is going to be pretty damn crazy one way or another. So, let's take a look at who we could get rid of. I mean, the first guy right off the top of my head is Taylor, that we re-signed. Again, he was a waiver claim. Let's take a look. Goalie-wise, we're fine for the moment. I could look at getting rid of one of them. Again, it wouldn't be too bad trying to get Sergei Bobrovsky if we don't think Shesterkin is going to progress. So that's the question. But then again, I think it's worth you know, giving Shesterkin that starting time and just bringing in another backup. Man, damn it. As far as defense goes, again, let me trade Taylor immediately. Who can take that contract? Carolina. Fine by me. Fine by me. We just need to trade him for whatever the hell we can. Wow, Trevor Carrick was pretty pissed off. Second round pick straight up? No, but we'll try to make this work. We will try to make this work. Was there anybody else I wanted to get rid of? Not necessarily. At least not at the moment. We are going to have to get rid of some other players for sure. Again, signing Smith is not a great idea. But we can. And did. You look at Niederreiter's value too because of the contract we had to... Because of that contract we had to hand him. There's no doubt signing Niederreiter for a first and a third seemed like a good idea at the time. Everybody seemed to agree. That's going to turn out to be one hell of a mistake. That deal is not going to have worked out all that well. And here, you know, we'll tack on Silvestre to this deal. That's what I was supposed to be looking for to begin with. And there we go. Taylor and Silvestre to Carolina for a second round pick. I'm all right with that. Now, as far as who we get rid of to clear up cap space, Shattenkirk, I mean, Nino has to go. And he would be the one to go, too, if we're able to work out this deal. Kevin Hayes still makes 4.6. Miller makes 3.625. So Nino has to go. I mean, there's no way that we're getting back fair value for him and what we gave up. We'll try to send him out to Colorado. And it's looking like it's pretty much just going to be for draft picks, which isn't technically ideal. I mean, Goddard wouldn't be a bad pickup. I just don't think we can afford him. Vesalainen wouldn't actually be too bad of a return. You know what? Let's see if I can get Christian Vesalainen back in this deal. I'm all right with a straight 1-for-1 if they are. They're not. Okay. We are going to have to give up a little bit to make this happen. Let me see what unsigned players I have that I could tack on to this deal in exchange for, instead of using draft picks, basically. Let's see. So Egon can go, but Saev can go, who we just drafted, and Peish can go. Geisberger doesn't have much in the way of potential or trade value. Let's see. Oh, God. Will that go through? Again, like, just... Obviously, it's the easy decision to say get rid of Nino. Let me take a look, though, at the forwards. Because top six, we have Zibanejad, Zuccarello. Yes, Zuccarello's contract is concerning. Skinner, Turris, Miller, Hayes, and Stromall, for that matter. If we end up getting Blake Wheeler, it's going to look a bit more interesting. I mean, that's the thing. Nino's only on that deal for 1 year, and then if we can get him to resign next year, we'll be looking all right. But if we want to go Here's the problem. If we can sign Wheeler, I mean, like, if we knew we could sign McAvoy, then I could get rid of, say, Anthony DeAngelo. So it's just a matter of making the right moves at the right time. And again, having to sign certain players really does screw us over. When we talked about, I mean, if we get rid of Miller and Hayes, that's over $8 million opened up. If I get rid of those two. And then we'd have a completely new third line this year because they're not going to be top 6 players. Are they good enough to be on the third line? Is the question. If we get Wheeler, the top line is Zibanejad, Zuccarello, Wheeler. Second line would be Skinner, Turris, and Stromwall. So, Niederreiter's not good enough to play on the third line. Stromwall is, if we don't get Wheeler. All right, here, you know what? You know what? I'm going to wait for a minute. I'll remember Colorado, though, hopefully. Going to free agents. Going to free agents. I mean, Wheeler and McAvoy. Right. The problem is at least one team's interested in both already. So, Wheeler, 6 years, 6.225. I'll bump that up to 3 for the hell of it. So that's 6.3, and then McAvoy is at just about 5.5. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Tough choices. That is the theme of this episode at this point. And we really got screwed over. We really got screwed over by a lot of these players declining. We would have been able to outright afford both Wheeler and McAvoy had these players just been like, hey, you know what? Benefit of the doubt, we'll be better next year. So again, cap-wise, as far as who we can get rid of, again, if we sign Wheeler, somebody from that top 6 needs to go. Third line would be Hayes, Miller, and probably Stromwall. I want to keep Zuccarello, and I have more faith in Zuccarello. I mean, that's the thing. Niederreiter's not going to get any better. I mean, neither is Skinner at this point, but I have more faith in, and Niederreiter costs more anyway, slightly. Oh, shit. Niederreiter only had like 37 points last year, too. Nino's got to go. Nino's got to go. I would have loved to have kept him. Nino has to go. And we'll try to pick up Vesalainen in return. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. But let's make this work. So, again, we got Nino there. Who else can we tack onto this deal as far as unsigned players who aren't going to be that good rather than using draft picks? We had Paish. Stotler and Geisberger can stay, but Sayev, Egan. Is that enough to go through? It isn't. I mean, offering 3 defensemen, of course, is a little bit rough, but we'll just throw in a pick here to make it hopefully worth their while. How about a 6th round pick? Is that good enough, Colorado? No, it isn't. Again, they don't want 3 players of the same type, but I got to make this work somehow. Will that go through? God damn it. Fine. Paish. How will that go through? Holy shit. Well, okay then. So Niederreiter and a low 7th D potential player for Christian Vesalainen. I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it. Again, I would have loved to have kept Nino. I mean, we gave up a 1st and a 3rd to get him as an RFA. We get Christian Vesalainen back in return. I'm all right with it. And that opens up the cap space. We have $15 million in space now to try and sign Blake Wheeler. Here's the thing. If this trade doesn't work out, we do still have Kevin Hayes. We do still have JT Miller. We should be all right. But these are the 2 guys to target. And, I mean, 6 years for Blake Wheeler. I mean, he'd be a rental. We'd dump him at some point. We'd retain cap and dump him. So, I'm going to go to 6.5 too much. Yeah, here, let's, hold on. What's McAvoy looking for? Hold on. Hold on. Let me allow me to double check. All right, so that would be Wheeler's price. That would be McAvoy's price. That brings it up to 11.6. Oh, yeah, so I have the extra cap space. I have the extra cap space to try and sign these guys for big-time money. So, I'm going to go... You know what? I'll offer him 5 years instead. Look at Silfverberg. Somebody's saying there's no way I'm signing Silfverberg. Not a chance. He's pretty much he's Kevin Hayes. If you look at his attributes, he is literally Kevin Hayes. So, yeah, I don't have much faith in a Kevin Hayes type at this point. I'm going for Blake Wheeler. I'm going to drop that down to 5, and I'm honestly going to boost this up to 6.5 over 5 years. It's a risky contract, but I'd say Blake Wheeler's worth it. So we'll send that offer. And then Charlie McAvoy wants 4 years. We'll give him exactly that, and we'll bump him up to 4.75. Actually, here, you know what? We'll even bump him up to 4.8 even. And we'll see if he accepts. I could offer them a hell of a lot more money than that, but we'll see if it goes through. I don't know. I might regret that. I might regret that. After trading Nino, I do have quite a bit of cap space, so maybe I could have sent out an even bigger offer. Crazy that Matt Duchene's listed way the hell down there at an 87. That could be a morale deal. But overall, I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling all right. So here's the thing, too, right? Odds are they are going to decline. I mean, we just saw what we went through with the free agent list, or with the re-sign phase. It's not likely that we get them anyway. But I wanted to get rid of Nino. We had to try. We had to try, and I didn't. I'm not too happy with Nino Niederreiter. Everybody else accepted except for him. He was that final holdout, so fuck him. Is the point. Okay, I do need to clear out some players here to make this work. Now, Nouveau and Kadlec aren't terrible. What about like 23-year-olds? As far as who might not make it. Brooks still has an outside chance, I would say, to make it. Like, our team is set up pretty damn well, actually. Shit. So as far as who we can get rid of to clear out spots, I mean, Smith is taking up a roster spot that he really shouldn't be taking up, guys. I'm just saying. I get it. It's kind of, you know, it's the whole... It's the, you know, the goon squad, holdout and all that shit. I get it, but... Come on now. It doesn't make much sense to keep him here, and it could cost us another great potential free agent. Now, Nouveau and Kadlec aren't terrible, especially for their potentials, but they have to go. They have to be the ones to help clear out these spots here for now. So where can we send them? I mean, it doesn't even really matter. Let's go Anaheim, I guess. Actually, who was bad last year? Calgary ended up turning it around. Chicago was pretty rough last year. So let's see what we can get draft pick wise. They actually don't want to trade any of their higher picks. I want to try and maybe get a 3rd round pick out of this. How about Detroit? Still no. You know what? I am going to send him to Detroit though, because Detroit was in for McAvoy. Detroit was in for McAvoy. I'm just going to go 4th and a 6th. I mean, that's not exactly... Hold on. What pick was Nouveau? Nouveau was a 4th. Kadlec was a 4th. Okay, here, let's try to get... we'll tack on a 6th and we'll do a 4th next year. That should go through. At least that way we're getting kind of fair return. Hopefully it goes through. At least it did. Perfect. So we get rid of them. We get the same return back. And allow me to go look at the free agent list again. And as far as backup goalies go, I mean, you know, I have a feeling there's somebody. I mean, we'll wait until free agency is, or at least we'll wait until the preseason, because some people might progress, hopefully. So I am going to go after Luukkonen, for sure. And again, I'm not going to be so nice this time as far as trading him back. We'll also look to sign Breland, who does have pretty good value. I don't know if we'll keep him, but it might be worth trading him at the very least. So we'll sign those 2 prospect goalies. On defense, we did have quite a few options. Well, there was Bronnstrom and Connor Timmins primarily. And again, I don't know if I'll be so nice as to, you know, send them back to where they belong, but we will send in offers for both of them. And then forwards, there was Lind, Anderson, Dolan, and then a couple of medium top 9 guys. I am going to go after Cole Lind. I am going to go after Jarrett, Anderson, Dolan. And then the rest of the medium top 9 guys, they are half decent, but we have sent out 8 contracts. I'm not even sure who else we could clear out of there. I mean, Studnicka, Milan Ulay is there, Comtois as well. Are those the only 3? There's Barry, who was created. Glenn Barry was a 4th-round pick of Ottawa. There's Korolev. So, yeah, there's a lot of half-decent players. But I've already sent out 8 contract offers. And how many open spots do we have at this point? I should have just gone to trade, but I'll check here from the whole managed contract list. We've sent out 8 contract offers. How many people do we have under contract at the moment is the question. That would bring us right up to 50. To be honest, I mean, the smart thing to do to make sure that we're able to sign everybody, as long as nobody declines, would be to trade one Andrew Smith. So, yeah, to play it safe, I have to trade one more player, just in case everybody accepts. So, yeah. I mean, the obvious choice is Smith, although I could trade one of the goalies right now just to be safe, which is what I'll do. We'll get rid of Cormier. And I probably could get rid of Schneider as well. I mean, I will get rid of Schneider if those other 2 guys decline. So, let's get rid of Cormier first. Anaheim could use another goalie, so we'll send him to Anaheim. 3rd-round pick? 2 third-round picks, or is that too much? That's probably too much. Yeah, that's going to be too much. But let's go a 3rd and 2 fourths. What do you think? A 3rd and a 4th works too. I don't even give a fuck. Okay, good. Cormier's gone. And now we'll see if everybody accepts. Again, prospect-wise, I'm feeling good. Wheeler and Charlie McAvoy, not so much. But we'll see what happens, man. You never know. We sent them a little bit more money than they were asking for. We'll see what happens. And this could drastically change the future of this series, as free agent signings have before. Connor Timmins accepted, which is good. Cole Lind is here. Jarrett Anderson Dolan, Eric Bronstrom, Luukkonen, Sergei Brelin. So every prospect that we sent an offer to has accepted. Again, you know, with someone like Connor Timmins, I could actually send them back to the team that drafted him or to Colorado. I don't know if I will. It's a little bit different when it's Taylor Radish and it's somebody who really should be on Tampa. But, you know, there's no telling if Connor Timmins, I mean, I don't know if he's actually signed with Colorado. He might not. He might not. So I don't know. Maybe we'll let that go. But here we go. Moment of truth. Blake Wheeler and Charlie McAvoy. Are they coming to Manhattan? Let's find out. Wheeler rejects. McAvoy didn't. I want to be a part of a locker room that has few issues and good chemistry. Wheeler goes to New Jersey, but Charlie McAvoy has accepted. So, unfortunately for us, we do not get Blake Wheeler. He goes to New Jersey. Bad enough that he has to decline, but he also signs with New Jersey. Now, we did, of course, trade Nino. I could go after Derek Brassard. I could go after Matt Duchene and still have a half-decent player. But, you know, I'm all right with McAvoy, obviously. I really did want Blake Wheeler. Like, I really, really wanted Blake Wheeler. It just didn't happen. So let's take a look at our team as it stands as far as the top 6 would go. We still have $10 million in cap space with 1 roster spot left. So looking at forwards, again, Zibanejad, Zuccarello, Skinner, Turris, and then Miller, Hayes, Stromwall. Someone would have to be on the 3rd line. Probably JT Miller, which is all right. Although, if I do sign 1 extra player, that means the 3rd line would probably be Miller, Hayes. Because, yeah, it would be Zibanejad, Zuccarello, Skinner, Turris, Stromwall, and then maybe a Matt Duchene, and then Miller, Hayes, and, say, Robin Kovacs on the 3rd line. Maybe even Elias Anderson. Our 4th line is still looking a bit rough. And then, of course, on defense, you have to factor in now that we have Charlie McAvoy. Brady Shea's not happy, of course, because it is a top 4 defenseman. So there is a very good chance Brady Shea will get traded here. Maybe even Strawman. I mean, if Shea decides to not be a tool, we could easily have a Shea McAvoy second pairing, and then trade Strawman, and then still have D'Angelo Graves as the third pairing. So right now our defense is looking really good. It's just we have to figure out that top six. Now, again, I could easily go for Matt Duchene. Or I could trade Strawman to get someone like that. Or, to be honest, I could just get Matt Duchene and then trade Strawman for a really good prospect. So, yeah. So, again, Brassard, I wouldn't mind picking him up, but he is asking for $7 million. Like, that is absurd. And nobody's asked Matt Duchene yet. Spooner somehow shows up as an 88. Just no. And I know as far as like money-wise goes, it's actually kind of worth it. How did he do last year is the question. 43 points. All right, 43 points for $6.5 million. No thanks. 56 for Brassard. Silverberg had 39 points. Matt Duchene had 40. That was a really down year for Duchene. He had 71 though the year before. So, Matt Duchene. Are you the guy we go for here? He's only looking for a 2-year deal. He's only looking for a 2-year deal. I think Matt Duchene's the guy. And then as far as or I could sign one extra prospect, but I think I'll hold off. By the way, Zachary Lozon is there as an option, low top 4 defenseman. Damn it! I really want a Blake Wheeler on this team. I think, God, it's just, am I willing to give Duchene the chance? Which I think I am. I don't know, man. Brassard's asking for a bit too much. I'd rather have Duchene than Spooner. I don't have faith in Silverberg. I mean, we'd probably put him on the third line, I guess. Do we want to pay a third liner $5.8 million per season? I really don't want to pay I mean, he'd be with Kevin Hayes and JT Miller. I think I'd rather just pay Duchene. I'm going to probably offer him like 6.5 to see what he says. And Gustav, 5.5. Actually, how good? He did have a good season last year in Detroit, didn't he? He did have 62 points, 32 goals for Gustav Nyquist. Would it be worth taking the risk on Gustav? You also have Carl Hagelin. Right. Tough choice. If only Blake Wheeler signed, my decision was made for me. He didn't, which is a pain in the ass. Great. All right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna see. I'm gonna check with Spooner. With Duchene. I'm not gonna offer him what he wants though. I'm gonna go down to like 6.25 and see what he says. Actually, you know what? Really, I mean, I'm gonna offer him 6 even, and we'll see what he says. We'll see what he says. Because again, I don't know if I trust Kevin Hayes and JT Miller to be second-line players at this point. Really, I mean, neither of them have exactly earned that trust at this point. So we'll see what happens. And maybe he'll accept a discount. Hopefully. Maybe. We're about to find out. And because of the chemistry, he declined. 63 locker room chemistry. Hardly the lowest it's ever been. Let's take a look. Is anybody off the list? Yeah, a couple of players were signed. To be honest, I could just go and get Nino back, but I don't want him. I could get Nino back at like half value, which would be fucking hilarious, but that's not going to happen. Damn. I think we're kind of stuck. Not that Gustav Nyquist appears to be the answer. I mean, someone like Anders Lee, I mean, how did he do last year? 50 points, not too bad. 74 the year before. He's actually done really well so far in the sim. 44 points for Hagelin. Hjalmarsson, of course, doesn't factor in. Here, let me sort by forwards again. You know, Gustav Nyquist did have 32 goals last year and 62 points. Matt Duchene had 71 points at 54 in year 1, but declined. And then Derek Brassard, 56 points. However, He was also an elite playoff performer, which is why he is looking for a boatload of money. And then, of course, you know, you got guys like Klimchuk and Emile Poirier that are currently RFAs. How Connor Sheary? 32 points. Carlson at 49 at the AHL level, though. Hagelin again, 44 points. Anders Lee with 50. It might be worth... I mean, we could have Nyquist on the second line. We could even have Anders Lee on the third line. I don't know. I really want a Blake Wheeler. And I'm not willing to sign Carlson because he's unproven at the NHL level. We might just hold off, to be honest. See what we get out of certain player progression. Because again, I mean, we could sign whoever, but you could also factor in that Anton Stralman might very well be traded. He very well might be traded, and that's where we could get a big-time deal. I mean, Nyquist had a good year. He's probably the best offensive guy that's at least willing to accept a deal with us. Derek Brassard wants too much money. I'm going to see if Nyquist will sign for cheap, even though Colorado's going for him. I'm going to offer him $5 million over 3 seasons. There's no way he accepts it, but who knows? Shot in the dark, he might. If he doesn't, we just move forward to the next part. At the very least, this was a successful... And yeah, he immediately declined, and it's the locker room that's an issue. Let's move forward. Actually, here, can I stop really quick and maybe go after Lozon? Nah, never mind, I won't. Let's just move forward. Again, all things considered, you know, Hank retires in the last episode. We have a half-decent draft. This episode, we start off by, you know, kind of getting screwed over by a lot of players. Had everybody just signed for what we wanted them to, we would have been able to, you know, offer even more money to Blake Wheeler. And to be honest, I should have offered even more money to Blake Wheeler. I was kind of hoping he would decline and just be like, hey, offer me more money. I could have offered even more for him. Maybe I should have. We at least got Charlie McAvoy, which is ridiculous that the Bruins weren't able to hold on to him. But, yeah, needless to say, I mean, we traded Nino, and I am going to regret, you know, I mean, since we didn't end up with Wheeler, I didn't expect to end up with either. So you could have argued, oh, you just should have signed McAvoy and, you know, kept Nino, but that's obviously hindsight that we would have known that. So I still think we're in a half-decent spot. The first thing I want to check is our unsigned players. We are, of course, going to have to make some moves here. We still have $8.9 million to spend, and who knows, maybe there's still a big-name free agent available. But as far as unsigned players go, you do have Hemsky, the defenseman we just drafted, is a 76 at 19 years old. He was the 5th overall pick. We do have some players that probably should be signed and given AHL time. As far as goalies go, I mean, Suominen is up there. Of course, Finnish. Both of our goalies are Finnish and could be assigned to the AHL. So we have some moves to make, for sure. So let's take a look at the team, and we'll clear out any anybody that we need to make room for the best possible prospects to be down in Hartford, and also have the best possible team in general. So, goaltenders. Halverson's an 83, which is great. He's good enough to be the backup. Shestyorkin did not improve, but we're still all right to have those two as our 1-2 punch this year. Snyder and Breland both went up to 77s. Goalie-wise, we're in a pretty damn good spot, for sure. We're in a pretty damn good spot. On defense, of course, we'll send down Bronstrom. We have McAvoy, Stralman, Shea, D'Angelo Graves, which will probably still be the third pairing, which is interesting. Gattenby's up to an 81. Timmins is an 80. So yeah, the defense is going to be pretty damn ridiculous down in Hartford. And then for forwards, I mean, no extreme progression. No extreme progression, unfortunately, which does kind of hurt the situation we are in at the moment. As far as who to call up, I mean, for the moment, we'll just call up Formenton, I guess. So that's kind of irrelevant. We need to decide how good of a fourth line that we want, right? Which, to be honest, it's looking like we're going to trade away some prospects. And we are probably going to have like a veteran fourth line again. So odds are the third line this year I mean, it's tough because Kovacs is there. You know, we could easily, and it's a shame that Turris hasn't bounced back completely yet either. But we could go with, say, that as the, with that as the third line, Kovacs, Miller, and Anderson. I think the better option would be to have Miller and Hayes on the third line, get somebody else for that top six, whether it's a center, or, to be honest, we could still just have Turris there and get a top-line right wing, which is where Blake Wheeler would have come in handy. And then we could have Elias Anderson or Kovacs there. To be honest, I might just send Kovacs back, or Anderson back down to the AHL again. And then the fourth line, we could just have a bunch of veterans. So, we need to make a move for sure. I still think I want Shea McAvoy, and then we'll have D'Angelo with Graves. So I think Strawman's got to go. I think Strawman has to go. I mean, Graves isn't going to get much better, but he is a decent shutdown top six guy. I mean, you could argue trying to keep D'Angelo on the right and still playing, or have him on the left and play Strawman or Shea and trying to keep everybody happy, which we could do. But I think I'm going to use Strawman to try and get an elite level player, and then hopefully Brady Shea can snap out of it and stop being a complete tool. He's not going to get any better, but he is about an 86 overall defenseman, which is pretty good for second pairing. So, Strawman has to go in favor of a top six player, and then figuring out the AHL is a whole different animal, because there's a lot of decent prospects that we're going to have to decide between. So the question is, who can we use Strawman and potentially other prospects that I've mentioned, mainly goalie prospects, who can we acquire? Who can we acquire as far as forwards go? And again, it's not like anyone's going to want to trade these players, but we need another player for that top six, and I'm trying to take a look at who we could actually afford to get, because again, if they don't want to trade certain players, like, it'd be great to try and get Pasternak. They don't want to trade him, so his value is even higher than what it appears. That is the problem. What do we have on Buffalo? Ryan O'Reilly, but of course that contract is pretty ridiculous. Sam Reinhart might not be a bad option. How did he do? I mean, Alex Nylander just won the Calder. Sam Reinhart, 23 years old, only 37 points last year. Would a change of scenery be beneficial for him, is the question. There's a decent chance of that happening, I would say. There's a decent chance of that. Carolina, do you have anybody? Not really, although somehow Elias Lindholm made it up to a 93, so congratulations on that. Yet Sebastian Aho, still at an 84. Still at an 84. Cam Atkinson, Pierre-Luc Dubois, no thank you. Calgary, anybody decent, please? Maybe, please. Klimchuk still an RFA. Actually, you know what? The first thing we should do, I mean, they have Sam Bennett. They do have Matthew Tkachuk. Some decent options in Calgary. I know people are immediately going to be like, Nolan Patrick! And it's like, calm down, maybe. We'll see. Free agent-wise, someone like Brassard's still there. He is, and now he's asking for less money. That's kind of what I was banking on. So we could definitely go after one of these guys now and sign them for pretty damn cheap. Not too shabby. And I'd probably prefer, I mean, would we go for Brassard, Duchesne, or Nyquist? Nyquist isn't looking for much money at all. You got Matt Duchesne again, who had a rough year. I mean, offensively, they're pretty much interchangeable. And then Derek Brassard is probably the most well-rounded out of all of them, and we could bring him back. Do I sign Derek Brassard for 1 year at a ridiculous contract and then bring him back for cheap the next year after? Or is it Matt Duchesne or Gustav Nyquist? Right. Honestly, I think bringing back Brassard might not be a bad option. And yeah, he's looking for a decent amount of money, but we could sign him for 1 year. You know what? Let's try it. Rather than outright, because now we could trade Strawman for, you know, a pretty damn ridiculous pick. So let's try to sign Derek Brassard. I'll go 6.7. We'll see what he says. We'll see what he says. And if that doesn't work, I'll probably offer him what he's just looking for to begin with. That solves the top 6 issue because, again, I don't trust JT Miller or Kevin Hayes at this point. Fuck you, Brassard. Come on. You bastard. You rat bastard. Right. Right. I mean, it shouldn't take up that much money, so I should still be able to sign some veterans, like a Marcus Kruger type, to a 4th-line spot. So, Brassard, Duchesne, Nyquist. You know what? I can only afford 1. I'm alright with any of them. So, let's send... Actually, here, let's just send that offer to Brassard. It's fine. We'll see if he accepts. Hopefully I don't have to offer him too much, because, again, I still have some stuff to worry about. God, I wish we ended up with Blake Wheeler. It just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. I should have offered him more money. Brassard, can you answer, please? You motherfucker. All that time wasted, and you still didn't accept. I call shenanigans. By the way, I didn't even check the scouting. We just missed out on a few weeks. Any rest of world players? Nope. So we'll go to Russia for 2 weeks. We'll go to Russia for 2 weeks. And there's a Ukrainian, Malikov. Right. How much am I willing to offer Derek Brassard? Or do I just try Kovacs and Elias Anderson in those advanced roles? You know what? I think I just might. I mean, obviously Brassard's a great fucking player. You know, Duchesne's there. Again, Hagelin, he'd be a 3rd liner. I wouldn't want to play him on the 2nd line. Someone like Klimchuk, he's not really... I mean, he might improve a little bit more. But also, 83 offensive awareness is a little bit scary. So, no. And same with Emile Poirier. He might improve a little bit, but no. Oh, nah. Brassard, Duchesne, Nyquist. Nyquist is still looking for 3 years, so you are insane. You are insane. Let me go check something really quick, man. Oh, this is ridiculous. I knew this episode would turn into something like this. If we had just gotten Blake Wheeler, the decision would have been easy. Or, you know, if certain players decided to not be cheap as hell and say, no, you're not that good anymore, which is ridiculous. You won a cup here. You should be thankful, although most of them didn't win the cup here. So again, I could just play Kovacs and Elias Anderson in that top 9 and hope for the best with Kovacs, Stralman, and Elias Anderson, and then the 4th line, sign a bunch of veterans, and then use Anton Stralman to get a damn good prospect, basically. Which means our top 6 would probably look something like this. I'd probably go Kovacs, Hayes, Miller, Skinner, Anderson, Stromwall, Zuccarello, Zibanejad, and Turris. That's probably what I'd go with. And yes, Turris is better than he should, or, you know, he's worse off right now. We need his morale to you know, jump back to what it was. Do I even want to sign Brassard to a deal like that? Again, it would probably mean Elias Anderson being sent down for the year, which isn't the end of the world. Might even do him a bit of good. We shall see. We shall see. I might send... You know what? I'm going to send one final offer to the top 3 forwards. Brassard, Duchesne, and Nyquist. If they decline, fuck them. Or one of them might accept. So for Brassard, 6.75. That is your max deal. Accept it or fuck off. Matt Duchesne, 6.25. That is your max deal. Accept it or piss off. Gustav Nyquist, 5.75 is your max deal. Accept it or don't. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If one of them accepts, fine. They're in the top 6. If not, screw them. We'll find out. Nyquist declined. All right, fuck you. We don't need you anyway. Duchesne and Brassard. Let's find out. They're making us wait. Duchesne declined. Brassard declined. All right, good. Fuck you both. Fuck all three of you. Don't need you. We'll be fine. So we will trade Anton Strawman for a prospect, more than likely. I mean, like I said, I could get rid of Graves, but he is a really good defensive D-man and should do well with D'Angelo. And I don't want to have to get in the habit of, trying to balance things out too much. I mean, like I said, we could probably keep Strawman and then drop like Shea down to that third pairing with D'Angelo. But then again, Shea and D'Angelo didn't work out too well together in the past. So, Strawman will go. I do need to re-sign a fourth line as well. Or, I need to bring in like a veteran fourth line because that youth line, they're not going to have a very good season. So, to try and get this episode done in a timely fashion, where can we send Anton Strawman? And I might even be able to tack on other prospects of ours to try and get a better deal. So. Excuse me. The question is, where could I send him now? I don't want to send him to Anaheim. God, I can't fight off this burping. I don't want to have to retain salary or, bring back anybody too ridiculous. Trent Frederick's an option, and it's not really going to happen with Boston, is it? Buffalo. Not that I want to trade him to another New York team. And it's not looking too good. Rasmus Asplin's probably the best guy. We do have a low elite Preston Parker, who's a grinder, so no thank you. No thank you. Who do we have on Carolina? Actually, did Carolina have cap space? They did, just barely. Carolina. Brady Tkachuk would not be a bad option. Brady Tkachuk would not be a bad option at all. He's probably the number one guy I'm looking at so far. Columbus, nobody. Nobody really. So Brady Tkachuk is still the ideal guy. Carolina, Calgary isn't going to happen. Chicago, it might happen. Maybe. The Brinkat's already an 85. Nah, there's really nobody there that I want. Colorado, potentially. I mean, we did get Vesalainen back. Of course, Nino Niederreiter's there, but screw him. They have Miri Ellis, who's not awful, but I'm still leaning towards Tkachuk. They also have Joe Veleno, but his value's a little bit too much. And again, Strawman, we should be able to make that work for Brady Tkachuk. Dallas isn't going to happen. Detroit, it might happen. Maybe. Koskinen, they do have Evgeny Svechnikov, Kale McCarr. They have Philip Zadina as well, who has really good value this year or in this sim, but no, thank you. God damn it, we have to do this though. We have to go through. We have to double check with everybody just to make sure. It's time consuming, but you got to do it. You got to do it. Bushnevich is still an 84, so I'm kind of glad we got rid of him. Montreal. Do you have anybody that I'd want? Rasainen? Yuka Rasainen. 9th overall pick in 2018. 78 overall at 20 years old. Probably the new favorite. Probably. Not much of a center. I don't know. I might still go out and get Tkachuk at least. I don't know. We'll see. New Jersey. Taylor Hall and Blake Wheeler. Oh, Blake Wheeler. It would have been nice to end up with you, although it probably would have been a mistake in certain ways. Right. Nashville. Right. They have Bodie Wild, and they want to trade him, so that's immediately the new favorite. That is the new favorite. It's going to take a lot to change my mind on that. Bodie Wild is the new top priority, and we'd be sending him to the other conference, which is great. Ottawa willing to get rid of Benoit Garou. I mean, we kind of know what he turns into, though. So I'm going to say Bodie Wild is still the top prospect to look at. And again, we're just going to go with Elias Anderson and Robin Kovacs on the team. We're going to give him the ice time. I could use Strawman to try and get a half-decent forward, But fuck it. Let's give the youth players time. We'll give the younger players time to see if they can progress. God, we should have traded up to get that guy. They don't have anybody at the moment. So Nashville, it's looking like you're going to win the Anton Strawman sweepstakes. Tampa can't afford him. What about Toronto? The Leafs? Nobody really. A lot of their younger players have already turned into absolute monsters. Yep, and it is official. Let's go talk to Nashville. Let's go talk to Nashville again about one Bodie Wild, 74 overall, 19 years old, is in the CHL, but should turn into an absolute monster. Will that go through straight up? No, it won't, but we shouldn't have to do a whole hell of a lot to make this happen. I can't afford to get rid of another goalie now. So let's see. I mean, overall-wise, we have our top two. Potential-wise, so we're going to want Luukkonen to play. We're going to want Tervainen to play. So Breland and Schneider are going to need to go. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, we just signed Breland, so we're going to get into a little bit of trouble with that. But those two need to go. They can at least take the Breland deal. Will that go through? No, it won't. But that's fine. That is fine. We'll take a look at picks. Of course, we do have already quite a few seconds and thirds because of what we were doing last year. Let's give up the Anaheim and Detroit fourths. Will that push the deal through? No, it won't. Just a little bit low, which is fine. We're going to make this work. No problem. We'll use our fifth. Strawman, Breland, a fourth, or 2 fourths and a fifth for prospect Bodie Wild. Will that go through? Yes, it will. So Strawman, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to be a piece of this team moving forward. But then what do you know? Charlie McAvoy ended up being a free agent. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. So again, for forwards, we still have a lot of work to do, man. We still have a lot of work to do. But that does sort out our defense. It'll be McDonough, Shattenkirk, McAvoy, Shea, D'Angelo, and Graves moving forward. And then again, for forwards, I do need to sign a fourth line in general, which means we need to get rid of quite a few players. Indeed. So, let's figure this out. I want to figure out the goaltending. Marathon episodes, man. People should expect it at this point. Marathon episodes. There was a time where episodes would be like, hey, 20 minutes or so. Not anymore. Not anymore. It's ridiculous. It is binge-worthy content, we'll say, at this point. My computer sounds like it's about to explode. So if I die, just know I appreciate you. Alright, so Swolmanen needs to be signed. Tervainen needs to be signed, and then we can get rid of Nick Schneider. And then our goaltending is optimized. Our goaltending will be optimized after that. Not the way I expected this team to pan out, but it still might work. Especially depending, too, on who we get on the fourth line. So, let me get rid of Schneider. We'll figure out the defense, we'll figure out the offense, because my God, I might even have to split up this episode into 2 parts. Who the hell knows? Schneider, you have to go. I'll send you out to Anaheim. I do suppose they could still use another goalie, even though we just gave them Cormier. Actually, never mind. Screw you. How about Arizona? How about Arizona? 3rd round pick will probably work. And we'll use a 5th round pick as well. That should go through no problem. No, really. Okay, let's try a 6th round pick instead. Will that go through? Yes, it will. See you later, Schneider. Have fun in the desert. I'm sending you to a desert. You better be okay with that. You better be okay with that. So, actually, shit, did it just sign? Ah, fuck me running. It did just sign a goalie to the AHL level, because once I signed those extra goalies, it didn't send anybody down immediately, because the game is stupid. So, I'm going to have to worry about just making sure that goalies for the best Lions is sorted out. That is a slight pain in the ass. Maybe a little bit more than a slight pain in the ass. That's actually very annoying, and I hate how the game does that. The good thing is Swolmanen is better than Griffin Outhouse. Barely. So that's good. I'm not going to really have to worry about it. So that's nice. Defense. is the next question. Now again, as far as the NHL lineup, it's set, but the AHL lineup is a different story because we do have quite a few players that also need to be signed. So that's a bit of a problem. That is a bit of a problem because we do have some half-decent players, especially after signing Bronnstrom and Connor Timmins during this past free agency period. No, I don't want to back out. That would suck, losing that progress. So what we need to do is take a look at values, I do suppose, and we will try to figure it out predominantly from this menu. So let's see. Smith is just never going to play. I'll leave him there. He's never going to play. It's just not going to happen. Ruinen's not bad. De Jong isn't bad. Gattenby isn't bad. But you look at some of the other players we have, and players, like for example, like unsigned players. Hemsky isn't even signed. 76 overall at 19 years old. We need to sign him. We have to. Wild's down in the AHL, or Wild's down in the CHL, which is fine. But when talking about what this team should look like, I mean, we have Kuhlman and we'll say Haig on defense. We have Hemsky that needs to play and Connor Timmins. You also have Bronnstrom now, which I'm almost tempted to get rid of Timmins and Bronnstrom, but I'm getting a little bit of trouble for getting rid of them. Then you also have Sean Day. So then for our scratched players, I mean, you could scratch Zborowski and Ehrhoff, which means Gattenby and De Jong have to go. Ruinen as well. So yeah, as it is, some players have to go. Some players have to go, which is tough. I mean, again, you know, getting Bronnstrom and Timmins just meant we have to move out some other players. We have to move out some other players. So, Zborowski being 22 is on his way out, I would say. Ehrhoff still has half-decent potential. I'm thinking, because part of me wants to keep De Jong and Gattenby. Gattenby particularly as a depth player, even though he'd probably be scratched at the NHL level. So I guess Joe Gattenby has to go, which is a damn shame. Damn shame. So Zborowski goes, Gattenby will go, which is, again, a damn shame. A damn shame, I say. Which means we have Ehrhoff, De Jong as the scratches, and we'll let go of Ruinen as well. Yep, that's how it's going to go. Ruinen or De Jong, one of them has to go. Ehrhoff is a lefty. Is De Jong a righty? He is not, so it really doesn't matter. De Jong is incredible defensively. Ruinen's a really good offensive skater. I could get rid of Ehrhoff, too, for that matter. We'll get rid of Ruinen. Right. So, Zborowski, Gattenby, and Ruinen have to go to make room at the AHL level. So, let's see if we can get rid of that trio. Joe Gattenby, I am sorry, buddy. I thought you were gonna be a factor. But, I mean, odds are you're never going to break into the AHL level. Like, you're going to be decent, for sure. You're going to be decent, but you're never going to be like third quality, third pairing quality, like some other players, say like Kuhlman, Haig, Hemsky, Timmins, Bronnstrom, and Day, all have the potential to be. We will try to send them out to San Jose. Let's see if we can send them out to San Jose. Do they want to get rid of picks? Please? No, they don't. Right, how about, again, looking out west. Edmonton. They want to trade their picks, which is great. I might be able to get a first-round pick out of this trio of players, which would be hilarious. Can I get a first and a third for this? It would be hilarious. Not quite. Okay, I'm still going to try to get a first. How about a first and a fourth? Well, what do you say to that? Still no. Just a first. No. Okay. Worth a shot. Worth a shot. How about a second, a fourth, and a sixth? Not quite fair value, but you know what? I'm fine with missing out on that deal. That should go through. There we go. Thank you very, very much. So, allow me to go sign those prospects. Again, we figured out the goaltending. Goaltending's good. We got to figure out the defense. Then we figure out the forwards. And then we're fine. And then we can move forward. Literally to the forwards. I meant to go to manage contracts. Let's hope I don't hit the wrong button too many times, though. That could really add to what I'm sure will already be a pretty damn ridiculous episode. So view contracts. View contracts. We got $14 million in cap space, which might be beneficial heading into the next offseason. Unsigned players. Again, goalies were fine. Defense. We need to sign Hemsky. And he was actually the only one. But we need to make sure that he plays. And then you do have guys like Ramsey, Gill, Hammerlick, Stadler even, that could play. So I might still get rid of a couple more of those guys who just aren't going to be great. As far as pick hoarding goes, that's still always going to be the same factory that it always was. It's impossible for it not to be because, of course, you're not going to sign a player that has, medium AHL top 2 defensive potential. You're not going to do that. It would really be nice if they just had a FIFA potential system where it's like, hey, he might be a 60, he might be an 85. The better you scout him, the more accurate the range is. That would be nice, because then you might be surprised from time to time. On here, with the way it is right now, you're not often surprised at all. So, it is what it is. But let me double check here now. So the goaltending is good. The defense, we have Day, Timmins, Haig, Hemsky, Bronstrom, and Kuhlman. With Ehrhoff, De Jong scratched, and then also Andrew Smith, who might end up having to be traded because I might have to clear that contract spot. So the good news is our defense is set with the proper players where we want them to be. Perfect. Now the forwards, this is interesting because we do have to send down what is currently our fourth line there with Formenton, Askew, and Brooks. I do want to sign like a veteran line, by the way. Kyle Turris back up to an 88, which is flipping amazing. So we still have some work to do, but we are making good progress here towards getting this team set. And I'm, at this stage, going to be really intrigued to see what we can do moving forward. I mean, I didn't expect to trade away Nino Niederreiter. I didn't expect to trade away Stralman because we ended up with Charlie McAvoy. I didn't expect to, potentially end up with Blake Wheeler. Like, again, the series, it just changes. That's what it does, man. It never goes according to plan. Never has, never will. So let's see. Palmu. Oh, man, do I want to trade Palmu? I mean, you look at the values here. Like, as far as values go, we're looking all right. As far as forwards, we don't have too much garbage. And you know what? Speaking of garbage, I mean, why delay the inevitable, right? Why delay the inevitable? Let's just get rid of this group of players that we're never going to use, Andrew Smith included. I mean, Gill, Ramsey, and Hammerlick can stay. Let's be honest, we're never going to use them. They're just using up, and at least in Smith's case, he's just using up a contract spot. So I'm just going to get rid of him. I'm sorry, we at least drafted him. That was his moment. But, I mean, you look at the prospects that we are continuing to add throughout this series. I mean, it's pointless to have them. Can we get a second and a third for this? This might go through. No. We might still be able to get a second out of this, though. How about a second and a sixth for this group of nobodies? Just a second? No. Okay. Worth a shot. Worth a shot. Let's try your third next year, a sixth this year, and a fourth next year as well. That should go through. Yep, there we go. All right, so a bunch of garbage. We get back some decent picks as well. Not too bad. And then the forwards, again, is what we have to decide on, which is great. Oh, just great. Here we go. I hate this chair. That's a quote. That's a quote in the Twitch chat. So, we have Zibanejad, we have Zuccarello, and we have Turris. Fantastic. We have Hayes. And again, I'm having to write all this down or type all this out just to make sure. We have Elias Anderson, which is good. Now, Stewart was from Great Britain, so we could sign him. and we will. So Stewart will play in the AHL. We have Owen Tippett, who will play in the AHL, as well as Vesalainen. Formenton will play in the AHL. We have Kovacs at the NHL level. Stromwall at the NHL level. Ostap Safin plays down in the AHL. Not Safin, Safin. There we go. Anderson Dolan also plays. We have Cole Lind as well, because it turned into a hell of a Detroit reunion. Tim Gettinger. Let's see, we have Adam Brooks. Furchner, who could be signed. Furchner and Kravchenko could each be signed, and I'm thinking that they will be, so that's going to cause some issues. We have Furchner, Kravchenko, and McFarland. As far as depth goes, it's looking like, it's looking like Berard, Rome, really any of these guys. They're all kind of in the same group. So, you know what? We won't sign Furchner and Kravchenko just yet. They're not requirements. Same with Rome. Yeah, so Furchner, Kravchenko, and Rome. So we will keep Berard. We'll keep Ronning as well. And then for depth, Roberts, McKinnon, and Fontaine. Damn. So, here, you know what? I'm thinking I might get rid of McFarland and Berard instead. That way we can keep, like Fontaine, Askew, Palmu, McKinnon, and Roberts. So I have very few spots left. That is the problem. Very few spots left. I'm thinking, at this point too, it might as well just be about, who we kind of like instead. I mean, Berard and McFarland were kind of up there. Roberts was up there as a pick. He was a 4th rounder. McKinnon was a 6th rounder. Right. So let's see. We have McFarland, Berard, Ronning. I need 2 or 3 of these guys right here. That is the question. I'm thinking that we keep Roberts as a depth guy, McKinnon or McKinnon. And then it's Fontaine, Askew, or Palmu. Askew is the highest overall guy, of course, because of his physical category. Gabriel Fontaine's a half-decent playmaker with 87 overall offensive awareness. Petrus Palmu, obviously very capable offensively. I'm going to go with Askew, though, because I feel like he has the greatest chance to make the NHL. So, unfortunately, Fontaine and Palmu are gone. I'll at least try to trade him to Vancouver. I'll at least do that. Can we trade him to Vancouver? Hopefully. And that will open up room to sign a 4th line at the NHL level. Hischer, Besser, damn, not bad. They have Jonathan Dolan, Jake Virtanen. They're not doing too bad for themselves. Can they accept both offers? They can't. So at least I'll be nice and at least trade Palmu to Vancouver. And I should be able to get a 3rd round pick out of this. Hopefully. Will that go through? How about just a 3rd? Still no. Really. Here, you know what? I kind of want this deal to go through. I want Palmu to go to Vancouver. Let me tack on a couple of 7ths from this year. Still no. Man, Vancouver, you just really don't like Petrus Palmu, huh? You just don't like him. How about the Arizona 6th as well? Because these lower picks don't mean a whole hell of a lot to me. So there you go. I was at least nice. I traded away Petrus Palmu to Vancouver. Now we got to get rid of Fontaine. Unfortunately, we still have a lot of picks too, man. We have a lot of picks heading into the next draft as well. Fuck it, San Jose, I guess, for Fontaine. Not like it matters. Let's see if we can get this to work. Again, looking for even more picks. How about a 4th and a 6th? Yeah, he's worth more than that, though. He is. Where can I send you? Where can I send you? Ed Money again. 3rd round pick from Edmonton? You know what? Let's try that. Let's try a 3rd round pick from Edmonton and a 5th this year and next, actually. Pick hoarding for the win. Fair value for the win. Will that go through? Yes, it will. See you later, Fontaine. And there you go. We are set up relatively well. And actually, as far as roster spots or contracts, we're at 43, which again is perfect. You know, I try not to, I try to at least have that depth chart in mind so that we don't just have players sitting around doing nothing. I mean, at least if it's the AHL depth, that's fine. But for the most part, we don't have anybody just sitting around for no reason. We try to run a tight ship here. But here we go. As far as these guys, again, Kravchenko didn't need to be signed. I don't think anybody needed to be signed. It was just the new fourth line that I wanted to get. So the last thing we have to do, of course, before setting up the lines and everything, is figuring out who is going to be on our kind of defensive, physical fourth line this year. Which it is just kind of a bunch of throwaways, which is fine. But let's see what we are dealing with here. Klimchuk did go up to an 87, by the way. Klimchuk did go up to an 87. How much is he looking? How much would it cost to get him? Second round pick. You know what? I didn't think he'd improve by that much more, but he is up to an 87. And he might not be bad for the third line. Again, it would probably mean sending down Anderson or Kovacs. And I don't know how much more he's going to improve by. How did he do scoring-wise? 48 points at the AHL level. Played 22 NHL games with only 2 points and was a -5. Ah, man. I don't know. We could sign him if we wanted to. But let's take a look at that target fourth line setup. So Ferland and Kruger are the first two that appear. Ferland, not too bad, really. I mean, obviously a very physical player. Kruger would be a decent fourth line guy. It's not too bad. You got Dwight King as an option. Again, do we want to look for here? You know, the first thing I need to look at is I want a dominant fourth line center when it comes to face-offs. So let's try to find yield face-off category. Should be coming up any second, hopefully. Poise, face-off. What? Do they not show it anymore? Ah, there it is. I skipped past it. I'm like, wait a minute. I know it's a thing. Okay, so as far as the top centers go immediately, is this Ben Smith? It is. Ben Smith shows up as an option. Not too bad defensively. Pretty physical player as well. It's funny that Brassard's up there. Kyle Brodziak is up there. You got Chaput, Larson, Sean Corrali. All right, so as far as the top center goes, I mean, I think Ben Smith's the guy, face-off-wise. You know, offensively, yeah, but decent physically, decent defensively as well. So I just wanted to sort that out for a minute. And then if you look at highest overall guys, again, you don't want to sort by fourth line guys because it'll show like 68 overall enforcers. But, you know, we could sign Kruger and just play him on the left. So we could go Kruger, Smith, and then if I find a righty, you know, just for that balance, although it doesn't even really matter a whole hell of a lot. Lance Bouma, pretty good physically. I mean, we're looking for that balance between physical and defensive ability, which apparently a righty is hard to find anyway. Alex Chason is an option. Ryan White is again an option and pretty damn well balanced as far as defensive ability goes. So it is a bit of a tough choice. Jimmy Hayes. I have to sign Jimmy Hayes, don't I? I might have to sign Jimmy Hayes, guys. It might not be the best signing, but it's Jimmy Hayes. I mean, come on. You know what? That's what we're doing. I think I know the combination here. I think I know the combination. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Let's send an offer to one Jimmy Hayes. I'm doing it. Offer contract. Jimmy Hayes will get to play with his brother. He's coming to New York because there's no way he's going to decline. And then I could go Ferland, Kruger. I mean, I'm looking at the 83 overalls. How good is Ferland offensively again? Not awful. Defensively is a bit weak, though. Kruger, really good defensively. Not bad physically. Let's sign Kruger. for 1 year. You selfish bastard at 1.1. So we got Kruger. We got Hayes. We could go for Dwight King. Not the best defensively, though. Not the best defensively. Lance Bouma isn't terrible. Josefson, Delorier, not too bad. Ben Smith, pretty well-rounded. We're going to go with Ben Smith, I believe. Let's get Ben Smith for 1 year. I'll sign him at $800K. Hayes, Kruger, and Smith. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh, damn it. Jimmy Hayes is going to be a Ranger. And you watch. He's going to win the Conn Smythe. We're going to win the Cup here in year 4. We're going to win the Cup. He's going to win the Conn Smythe. Yeah, Pro Scout, you can whine all you want. I did it once. Ben Smith has signed. Anybody else? You know you want to answer Kruger and Hayes. There we go. Let's set up this team, shall we? Let's get a look at what the Season 4 Rangers are going to be. So again, Brooks, Formenton, and Askew will be sent down in exchange for the 3 players that we just signed. And that is looking good. So let's set up these lines. And I don't know, man. Who knows how we'll do this season? That'll be the question. But, alright, so we have in here, actually, Smith is a better center. So we'll go Kruger, Smith, Hayes. What a 4th line. What a 4th line. We'll go with Kovacs, Hayes, and JT Miller. Let's have... God, do I play... Who do I play here? You know what? I'm trying to think here. Anderson, Turris, Stromall with Skinner. Skinner's advantage at Zuccarello. And especially now since Turris hasn't bounced back to a top-line center. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Of course, we could do a bunch of different changes throughout the season depending on results, but that might be what we start off with. So again, you know, Skinner, still not bad for top 6 guys. Banijad, Zuccarello, legit top-line guys. Turris, top, you know, without a doubt, a top 6 guy. You have the youth and Anderson and Kovacs. We know what Stromwall can do. And then you have the kind of veteran presence, I guess, with Hayes and Miller. I mean, I could play Skinner on the offhand, right? So, I mean, I could go Zuccarello's, Banijad, Stromwall, and then say have, I don't know, Skinner, Turris, Anderson. I could do it that way. I mean, they could play on either side. It's kind of interchangeable. So, I don't know. I'll get your, of course, for those live on Twitch, you know, this goes up on YouTube after the fact. I'll get your feedback on the YouTube side of things afterwards. But let me know. A bunch of different options there. The power play, of course, we'll take a look at. But the defense is already good. The question is, can Brady Hayes recover? I mean, 85, 86 still isn't terrible. I mean, right now it's still a bit of a morale thing. He'll bounce back. This is just what dealing with Brady Hayes this is what dealing with Brady Shea entails. As he has quite the attitude, is what I'm trying to say. And, of course, the goaltending, Shesterkin and Halverson. Good on Brandon Halverson to make it to backup quality. Anyway, down in the AHL is where we do still have a couple of questions. The goaltending is set, and, yeah, Brady Hayes, Brady Shays, Jimmy Shays, Brady Hayes. That's how it happens. God, I think our defense is good. Who is scratched on defense right now? Ehrhoff and DeJong. Yep. So, yeah, the defense is good to go. I could very well play other people at a different level. Oh, let's see. Medium top 4, low top 4, low elite, and high top 6. So, Hemsky and Kuhlman's going to be the top pairing for sure. And then we have... God, that's a tough question. We could go with... Bronstrom, Haig, Day, and Timmins? It's not too bad, I guess. It's not too bad, I guess. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I mean, you know, we have a bunch of medium top 4s and then one... Well, actually, here, you know, we'll go Haig, Bronstrom. We'll go Haig, Bronstrom. There we go. That's looking good. And then, offensively, who is currently scratched? Lind and Safin, so a high bottom 6 and a low top 6. I could honestly sign one more depth forward if I wanted to, or if we needed to, really. So, all right, let me take a look at the potentials here. So we have medium bottom 6, medium top 9, another medium bottom 6. Is there anybody lower than a medium top 9? Not quite. So we got medium top 9. We'll have the AHL potentials on the bottom lines as well. There is a medium top 9 there in Berard, who could be sent down. Well, actually, no. Wait, that's fine. So then we got low top 6, medium top 6, medium top 9. Right. So let's go with... I think that looks good. We'll have Vesalainen, Anderson, Dolan, Tippett, Formenton, Brooks, Gettinger. I think that's looking all right. And the third line, we'll just have it be... That's actually a good question. Who should it be? Who should it be? I'm thinking Roberts. Yeah, I'm thinking Roberts. I mean, really, any combination is fine. Who can play center? He's a 73. He's a 76. Okay, so McFarland and Ronning need to be the centers. So we'll go with McKinnon, Ronning, Askew, Berard, McFarland, Roberts. Looks good to me. So definitely not as good of an AHL squad as we've had in the past, but a lot of good potential there. Like nothing too crazy. I mean, medium top 6 with Vesalainen and Owen Tippett are still probably our 2 best prospects. But all things considered, I think we're in a pretty damn good spot, especially considering the NHL lineup is still in a half-decent spot. Again, that top 9 has a lot of talent. We'll see what Hayes and Miller can do. It might be their final seasons here. Kovacs and Anderson have a lot to prove. And then, you know, we sign the kind of defensive, more or less physical kind of shutdown line for that fourth line, which didn't really work out too well last year with Vesey, White, and Chris Wagner. I think it's Chris Wagner, at least. The one on Anaheim and the one who was on Colorado for a cup of coffee. I think it's Chris Wagner. I know it's Wagner, though. Anyway, it didn't work out too well. We'll take a look at the power play lines and all that shit after the fact, but the point is we are in a pretty good spot. Now, I mean, now there's nothing left to do but to move forward into the next season. That journey will begin in the next episode. Although, really quickly, captaincies. Brooks, Askew, and Roberts should apparently be the captains. So we'll do that really quick. NHL level, I don't know if I'll change it. We'll see. We shall see. It was Brooks, Askew, and Roberts. So Sean Day is the captain. You know what? We'll leave that the same. That's fine. I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, if I were to change it myself, I'd probably have Haig, Tippett, and Lind be the captains. Which, you know what? Now that I say that, considering we ended up with these 3 again, somehow, some way, Day, Timmins. I mean, Day probably deserves to keep the letter, considering he's actually been here for a decent amount of time. But I'm sorry, we have to do this. We have to do this. Haig is the captain, Tippett and Lind as alternates. And actually, Cole Lind was scratched. I need to put him in the lineup. That's what I forgot to do. I forgot to change out the medium bottom 6 players. So there you go. The Hockeyopolis trio, as they will forever be known, are back. And let's see. It was Lind and Safin that need to be back in the lineup for the medium bottom 6 players. So Roberts and McKinnon are actually kind of screwed. So Roberts was an alternate, which, yeah, that won't be the case anymore. We'll put in Cole Lind. I knew I forgot to do something. I'm like, wait a minute. Something doesn't seem right here. I'm forgetting to do something. And that was it. So, let's see. Again, we have a low top 6 and a high bottom 6. So we have 2 high bottom 6s there. Right. So we could go with Lind, Formenton. And I could just have Brooks there and drop Gettinger. Yeah, I think we'll just drop Gettinger. That's fine. So who can play center? 70 for Gettinger, 71, 73, and 76. So we'll go with Ronning and McFarland. Man, that third pairing. Gettinger, Ronning, Askew. That's going to be a pretty interesting line to follow. And then we'll just go with Berard. Why not? So Berard, or Safin, Berard, McFarland. That looks better. That is looking better. Good enough. Good enough for me, at least. And again, scratch players, you know, you have Roberts and you have McKinnon there, who are half decent players, and we could easily put into the lineup if we wanted to, but we are going with the higher potential players to start off the season. Actually, one final thing. One final thing. Of course, we had the Hockeyopolis trio. So it's Miller, McDonough, Shea. I can't take that letter off of Shea. He will jump off a bridge. So those are pretty much set. I think we are good to go. Although the last thing I wanted to check is if we had to sign one more forward, who would it be? If we had to sign one more guy, who would it be? That's what I need to double check. We have $14 million in cap space. We said we were rebuilding. I mean, ending up with Charlie McAvoy certainly kind of changes that. But let's see. For forwards, if we had to sign somebody who isn't Canadian, it would be Stewart, I guess. Yeah, Stewart, Christopher Stewart, the man from Great Britain, who should probably be signed outright, as it is. I mean, I could take out one of like the medium top 9 guys, but he is a 63. So that is who we would sign if we had to. But for the moment, I think we're good. Overall, these rosters are set up decently. A lot of it depends on what certain players can do. Again, every time, every episode, this team changes more than I thought it would have. I didn't think that we'd have as much trouble, and by the way, that's how long this episode's going to be, considering, unless I break it up into 2 parts. I mean, the controversy with players declining to re-sign, you know, ending up having to trade Nino Niederreiter instead of just outright being able to have the chance at signing Wheeler and Charlie McAvoy to begin with. We ended up getting some really decent prospects from the free agent pool. We still had a half-decent draft. And the Henrik Lundqvist era, I mean, it's come to an end. We are now, for the moment, in the Shesterkin era. We'll see how that works out. Again, 92, 94, and 88 for ratings with the NHL team. The AHL team still looking okay. 78, 80, and 89 for ratings. So I'm excited. Without a doubt, I'm excited to see what happens with this team moving forward. And I hope you feel the same way. But for now, we are done here. If you're joining me live on Twitch, don't go anywhere just yet. But if you're watching on YouTube after the fact, I do thank you very much. That'll do it for another episode of the Manhattan Project. Support the video, support the channel, all that great shit, and I will see you guys in the next one.